Congratulations on Cursed. I saw episode 1. I can't wait to see episode 2 and the rest, but what a great pace to this. What a great way to set up characters, bringing us into the Arthurian legend, from a really different perspective. Is that what attracted you to this project?
That is one of the main reasons that I really wanted to do this project. Yeah, knowing, like, I think pretty much all of us know the Arthurian legend. I was excited that we were going to be taking this fresh perspective and focusing on the Lady of the Lake. And so yeah, I loved that aspect of the project.
And it's coming at the right time. I think we need more and better entertainment that is legendful, that young girls can go, wow, I can do that. I've got power in me. So I think it really underscores that as well. Plus, it's a lot of fun.
That's great. I think both of those things are what we were after. I know, I remember being a young woman, and I think I would have just killed to be able to see something like this. So I'm excited for young women all over to take a look and hopefully see a bit of themselves in Nimue, and thrilled that you think it was a lot of fun, because that's what we were after too.
Well, it really is. I mean, you're experiencing characters in a brand new way, and kind of it's never been done quite like this before. It's always been Arthur, the Pendragons, but never about the woman who wields the sword, basically.
That's right. I think, again, I loved the King Arthur legend, and, I've watched Excalibur a million times, and, you think these characters, and I love that Tom and Frank really went in there and just thought about, what about the Lady of the Lake? Why can't we sort of take her narrative and follow her journey? So yeah, I think I was excited.
As a director on something like this, because this is special effects heavy, it has to have great acting in it. By the way, Catherine Langford is amazing. But you also have to balance that with, what the viewer wants. So do you storyboard everything before you shoot?
I love prep. I feel like I'm a happy nerd in that land, figuring it all out, having all the conversations with all the department heads, coming up with, all the ideas, and then narrowing it down. And many sequences, yes, are storyboarded. Like in that first episode, all of the big sequences, everything is shot listed. I think for me, really preparing, because there's so many moving parts, I don't see how you can do that with the amount of time that we have, any other way. It's really important. Everyone needs to be on the same page for safety and for execution, and to do, to get it right.
It goes back to the old carpenter adage, measure as many times as possible, cut once.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly it.
What are the most difficult things to film? Is it the fight scenes? Is it the mixture of human and CGI? What's hardest for you?
I think it depends. I think they pose their own challenges, and I think the more moving parts, again, the more elements, the more you need to be prepared, and I think the more challenging. So the fight sequences, maybe a fight on its own would pose its own challenges. But if you have a fight sequence and then you're involving animals and fire and smoke, then I think it becomes, an extra challenge, because you need to make sure that you're crossing all your T's and dotting your I's, and that it all feels organic. And then the scenes that involve practical elements and CGI elements and visual effects, those are very challenging, because you want to make sure that you're shooting it in a way that when you get into post-production, your final vision will mesh and make sense. So I think both of those are their own challenges.
Doing a pilot, directing the pilot, you're setting the pace for the whole series. Was it your idea for the transitions going into that kind of old look? I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's like a painting, and transitioning to the real world from that.
Yeah, you know what? I have to tell you, that came later on in the process. And I think, I can't even remember if we were still shooting, but, Frank Miller, obviously, we we're such fans of his work and being able to collaborate with him on this. He's our executive producer who created this world. And so we kept thinking about ways that we could infuse the world with his elements and his style. And so those transitions came about because we kept just digging and digging, like, do we need anything? Let's explore it. And so that came about. And once we started to hone in on what that could look like, I think everyone was on board. Everyone just thought it worked so beautifully and told a story.
What were your meetings with Frank like? I mean, he's an incredible artist, but he's a terrific storyteller. You're a storyteller. Did you guys jive?
We did jive, and I love that word because I have to tell you, I couldn't believe it. You have those moments where I was like, pinch me, that I was in my first meeting with him. And he was like a kid in a candy store. He was so excited. I was throwing out ideas and films that I loved and he loved. And we just really meshed from the very beginning till now. And those were some of my favorite sort of memories of these last couple of years, just sitting in a room with him. Or, I was in New York. I got a chance to be in his studio and see his work. And yeah, he's just so open and really wants, just super excited about great ideas. So yeah, it was really, just an amazing relationship to be involved with him.
Now you kind of had a very interesting career, coming up and of course, learning the craft of directing and again, as I said, storytelling. What do you tell young directors, especially young girls that want to get behind the camera? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I feel really grateful and very lucky that I get to do what I do. And I'm from the Bronx, the South Bronx. Like, this is, I just am so thrilled that this is what I'm doing for a living. And I take, that sort of responsibility really seriously. And I'm excited for young women to really, see that more of us are doing this job and doing it well. And I feel like, you can't take no for an answer. I know people say that, but I think young women especially really have to dig deep and figure out a way. If there's a door that's closed, how am I going to get around that door? How am I going to get someone to say yes, and to believe in themselves and believe that they have the right to be in this world and a really strong point of view. And we want your stories. We want you here.
This business, director, producer, screenwriter, whatever, you can go to college for 100 years, but until you hit a set, until you have that kind of experience where you're one-on-one with a crew, this is really the only business you still have to apprentice to. It doesn't matter what diploma you have to prove yourself on a set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to do the work, and if you want to be a director, you have to direct. I also say that it's like, make your films, make your short movies. I really wanted to learn to work with actors. I started to just work in theater and I didn't get paid. And I just wanted to be in the rehearsals to learn how actors worked. And so I think just really for people who really want to break in, for young women, people of color, it's like, put yourself hopefully in a position where you can get experience and learn the craft, because it's a craft and you want to be able to do. So I think the more you do, the more access you have, the better you'll get at it,
And the difference really between theatrical directing and motion picture directing, I know the headaches are a little different, but is it all the same?
When I was directing in theater, I think of the similarities often, which is you have a script and your job is the same job. You have to tell the story. How you're doing it, the how of it may be different, but you have to really always serve the story, serve the characters, and either you're figuring out the blocking on a stage or you're figuring it out for a camera. It really, it in its essence is the same thing, which is what I love. Then the how of it is different.
In theater, you're performing to the back row. In movies, you're performing to the audience who's watching.
That's right. Yeah. A camera is so sensitive. And so the actor is performing to a camera, a little bit of a different muscle that they're exercising. But again, even on their part, they're still doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is telling the story.
Who are your heroes in directing? Or who do you bring to bear when you're on set?
Oh, such a great question. I have so many directors that I really admire. Many from our sort of iconic, heroes of cinema. I'm a New Yorker. It's Martin Scorsese. Like,
Say that in genuflect.
yeah, what can I say? To everyone, Patty Jenkins. I think she's an incredible filmmaker. I'm thrilled. I love Ava DuVernay is doing some beautiful work. She's such a great storyteller. So yeah, I have many, many, many directing heroes.
It's such a pleasure to talk with you. And as we wrap up again, it's Cursed. It's on Netflix. How is Netflix treating you? Are they good people?
Oh, it's been great. It's great to work for Netflix. Yeah, I watched so many shows that I still can't believe I've gotten an opportunity to work there. It's been pretty great.
And I noticed in the resume you directed Longmire, one of my favorite shows, and it has one of my favorite people in it. One of my good friends, Katie Sackhoff. She's
Love Katie Sackhoff. Love her. Yeah, I did 2 episodes of Longmire, and she is wonderful, amazing actor, and so great. Oh, I love that you mentioned Katie and Longmire.
Yeah, and she's just a doll. She's just a generous human being, and I owe her more than I can say. But anyway, yeah, congratulations on Cursed. Are you going to return to the series and do some more directing when it goes into season 2 or 3, or is it just a 10-episode arc?
I hope we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And yes, it would be wonderful always to revisit the characters. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. If you're ever in Utah, you come look me up, and dinner's on me.
Oh, thank you very much. Such a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This celebrity interview is sponsored by...
I'm Annette Civarella with Pia Anderson Moss Hoyt, Utah's leading entertainment law firm, serving clients nationwide. We provide solid, attentive representation, focusing on minimizing risk, reducing cost, and protecting the reputation and privacy of our clients. Our goal is to provide you with the legal representation you need to make the right decisions and to protect you and your creative works. Call or email me for a free consultation.